Good morning, Greg here, burning both ends, burning on the front end of May 10th, 2018. It just hit 6 a.m. Pacific. Beautiful morning. The garage door is open. The sun is coming through. The birds are chirping. I love it. Fresh air fills the garage where the home office is. The mess behind me continues. And just a little word about that. So I add a little piece about the mess behind me, the hat, the hoodie in the description, so you can always read about that. I feel I don't really need to explain that every day, but it's important. And just to remind you, so my office is in our garage. It's not climate controlled. I get up early. It's a little chilly outside. I like to open the garage door to get some fresh air. And so I rock the Mad Bomber hat and the orange hoodie, and I'm ready to go. And they're both sentimental. My parents gave me the Mad Bomber hat. I must have had this for 20 years or something. So, well, first of all, it's ridiculously warm and awesome. Second of all, my folks gave it to me, and I really appreciate my parents. They're incredible parents, and they're the biggest reason why I am where I am today. Where I'm at today. So, and then the hoodie. My wife gave me this hoodie. I love this hoodie. And so I'm good to go. And that's why we see some sunshine here. The garage door is open and I'm loving it. So let me just mention a couple other things that I'm really into that really keep me going. Part of my process before I get into today's topic. One, music. I love music. I've been drumming for quite some time. And that's the little beats in the background that you hear. And some music that I've been getting into recently is a genre called psychedelic ambient or psy ambient. This is just kind of like down-tempo beats and really cool rhythms and typically no lyrics but some chanting and things like that. And so there's a link down below. This gentleman in Japan has put together like 100 several-hour mixes that you can just download the MP3s and I love it. I'm on number 25 right now, so you check that out. Download some MP3s, get some cool music going. If you're into it, I just downloaded number 25 today. It's really fresh. And then the other thing is this Millionaire Mind wealth conditioning program that I'm into. Do this like every day. And this is kind of the thing where, I'm looking to build things a little bit by bit, right? This is to show progress, to practice patience. And so here I've started doing this since 2016, so 1 page a day. So there's one notebook I got there. That one's full. Oh yeah, and it's got awesome picture from my daughter. Let's see if we can see that up there. So there she is. There's my daughter Simone. And then this is 2018, so I'm on day 46. So it's a 90-day program. I just keep repeating it. It's 5 or 6 repeating tasks within the workbook, and there's I didn't link it down low because it's copyrighted, but it's very easy to find on the web, and I put the Google search down there so you can find your own copy. You can get a PDF and start using that if you'd like. It works well for me. It just keeps long-term and short-term goals right in front of me. It keeps gratitude right in front of me. It keeps appreciation. It just keeps a lot of very good things for success, in my opinion, right in front of me. And it's a simple 10-minute thing. Maybe when you first start, or when I first started, maybe it would take 15 minutes, but I really like it. Then also got my keto coffee. I'm on the paleo diet and loving that. So anyway, but I'm not going to explain all this stuff every video, but I think every so often it's important, and I'm going to put more and more in that description down below, and eventually the description will become a book, and then we'll just publish that. So anyway, so on to today's topic. And this is something that I've really been working hard on, and it's come to me in very slow paces, even though I've been doing this for quite some time. As I had mentioned, I had been doing some pro bono startup work, and one of the big things about, what do I bring to the table? This is a constant question. Why should I be on the team? And this really summarizes what I'm very good at. And I'm all about execution, but how do I get to execution, right? And so I've got these 4 little pieces, and then I'll explain them all. So organization, clarity, sequencing, execution. Pretty simple. And so with organization comes clarity. With clarity comes the ability to sequence. With the ability to sequence comes execution, because now I know what needs to be done next. And in my experience, when in business, when in a startup, whether it's a small business or even a technical project, almost anything, there seem to be almost infinitely many tasks ahead of me, or just a daunting number of tasks. And so how do I understand clearly what needs to be done today and what can wait till tomorrow? And Denzel Washington, and actually in the video below, he's got a great commencement speech. Really like it. He says, just because you're doing a lot more doesn't mean you're getting a lot more done. Don't confuse movement with progress. And if you want to be a little geeky about things, which I tend to be, if we think back to high school physics, and the equation for work is force times distance. And so if I'm pushing on something and I'm not going anywhere, I'm not technically doing work, right? Or if I carry something up and then I come back down to where I was, I technically have not done work, even though I might be sweating and I might be tired. And so this whole process that I'm about to explain is what enables me to make sure I'm doing work, make sure I'm making progress. Russell Cox, who was my first business coach, and I love Russell, he has this thing called a success journal, where it's a daily or weekly or monthly just journal that I keep, and it just lists successes and then these things called success steps. So successes are just the little things you do day to day to move forward, and then a success step is when you've completed a whole series of tasks, and now because you've got to this success step, it's a new day, it's a bridge to a new world. For example, if here's an example, I'm going to be applying for jobs, let's just say. So the successes might be getting my resumes together, getting my cover letters together, getting my search abilities together, whether it's Indeed or Monster or whatever, and then getting my resume reviewed and polishing it. And then the success step is all that's in a row, and now I'm ready to apply for jobs. So that's a success step. The resume is ready, the cover letter template is ready, I have my search all set, and so now I can sit down and I can actually apply for jobs. And then the successes become, okay, apply for this job, apply for that job, so on and so forth. And then the next success step might be, I get a call back. And then you can imagine the next, success step is I execute interviews. And then, so these are just ways to make sure that I'm making progress. So let's start with organization. So imagine there's infinitely many tasks. Things are scattered in today's world. Right, we have email, and then we have Google Drive, and then we have things that I wrote down in my notebook, and then we have things over here and things over there. What is a way to put all this in front of me, the important things in front of me, so I can actually look at them and make some decisions on what's going on? And this is where I really I love the Google G Suite. We have it at work. I have it for burn at both ends. And I'm so in love with it. I'm all in on the G Suite, and my love in the G Suite is Google Sites, and then the new Google Sites, not the classic, if you want to get technical there. And so what I've linked in the outline and linked below, for example, is my process that I'm developing now for posting these videos. My goal is to get it to be 20 minutes of work in addition to putting it, to making this content. Obviously, it takes so many minutes to make this content. But as far as the other pieces of the puzzle, to create the outline, to post everything, to export the video. So I've linked, I am going to have a website eventually. I'm building it right now. But what's linked there is just a PDF of just the process of putting these videos out. And it's kind of funny because when I start listing the process, it's like, wow, there's a lot of steps in here. And then the other thing is, do I actually use that process? Do I look at it again, or do I just make it once and then I keep it hidden? So you can check that out. This is kind of a peek into my mind and how I operate. And just so you know, I use the process every day to make these videos, and I remind myself, and it's wonderful. And as I'm making all these steps in this process, only now can I really see these items, and only then can I refine what I'm doing and realize, oh, these things can happen together. Oh, I can move this thing over here. So this organization produces this clarity. And as I said before, I'm all about the process. I'm actually rather obsessed with processes. As I've imagined, everything I do in life has a process. It's kind of interesting. So, okay, so let's go on to sequencing, right? So now we've got everything in front of us. We're bringing clarity to our situation. Now we can put things in order. Sometimes, and this is also called planning, right? And I've had this experience at work where some folks can see planning as a waste of time because they see planning as not doing, and it's like, why are we here? There are so many of us. We're just talking about stuff. And for that reason, I may not do it, or I may not, and this is important, I may not do it to a point where it's valuable. I may start, and then all of a sudden these complaints come in, whether it's internal or external, and then I'll stop before I get to a point where now I can sequence and now I can get an execution. And so some questions to ask during this process are, what tasks can run in parallel? What tasks can I only do? What tasks can I delegate? It's important to understand the difference between delegate and abdicate. That's critical. Let's see. What are the specific deliverables? This is a huge one for me is, when do I know I'm done with the task? What's the thing I hold in my hand? It's okay, I'm done now. And then where do I put it? That's the other thing. What is the thing and where does it go? And I'm a big fan of putting things in places so everyone can see them. That's why I love the G Suite and Google Drive. When you have it for your organization, you can very easily make things public to the entire organization. This is what I do at my job. I make these Google sites where I tie everything together, and then the entire company can see it. I mean, they might not know where to find it, but they can all see it. And so then what I've done is then I've made like my own Greg website that links to all the project sites. So that way they got to go to one place and they can link out to everything. And back to this deliverable, it's like, when do I know I'm done with a task? This is in engineering, this is a requirements document. This is like, what's the performance of the system I'm building? And a good requirement will tell me when to stop. Right? This is critical. It's, better is the enemy of good enough. That's a great NASA quote. Sometimes you just got to get it good enough. That's kind of the point of these videos. So I'm not cleaning up behind me. That's why I just wanted to get an execution on these videos. And for this reason, because solid requirements are tough to find. They're tough to quantify. They're hard to find, and it's especially difficult to get the team to agree on a solid requirement. And this is why things like research and development, being in a startup, can be very challenging, because the requirements are tough to understand, and it's tough to know when to stop and when to keep going. And so the work can just kind of, it's almost like Russell, my former business coach, used to say, it's like wandering in the woods. It's like, it's important because you're seeing things and you're trying things out, but at some point the wandering has to stop, and focus and laser focus needs to begin. So now we've gone through organization, we have some clarity, we've gone through sequencing, we've delegated tasks, we've realized the things that I need to do, and now we can get into execution. And this is what I love about when I've planned properly and I've sequenced properly. I can just get right into execution, and I don't have to think about things. And I'll be specific about that don't think part. And it's not that I don't think, it's I'm allowed to just execute on that task. I don't have to think about these other outside things about, well, was I going to do that first? Or now I'm out of sequence and I have to redo something and step back. So I've done all that thinking already. And there's this theory, whether or not it's actually true, I believe it. There's a video down below about the power of habit. Check it out. And it's in a day, we have limited decision-making power. And so therefore, I choose to focus on the important decisions, and not the trivial, mundane things like, what should I wear today? What should I have for breakfast? This is my paleo diet, really helps with that. All my meals are set for the week. I don't have to think about what I'm eating. It's beautiful. As far as what I wear, I have 2 pairs of black slacks, and I have like 6 or 8 shirts. They all go with the black slacks. I got black shoes, gray socks. I can pull any of them, and they go together. Simple. I don't have to think about that. And so what I can do then is I can focus on the really important things, like how am I going to execute on these critical tasks for my project? These are really important decisions. And And like I said before, where do I put this work product? When do I know I'm done? As Russell would say, I'm hitting Russell a lot today. I love it. Leave a trail of breadcrumbs. This is this thing of how can others find what I'm doing? Very important. And as we get into this world, this virtual world that we're in, where we're webinars and we're working with people around the world, this becomes more and more important because, like, what good does it do if it's written down on my desk and it's something critical for the company? That really makes it tough. And I find people that really enjoy that style because it makes them important versus give it all away, make it all public, or public within the company, right? Maybe not public without outside the company if it's trade secrets and important like details just for the company. But leave a trail of breadcrumbs so others can find it. I'm really big on, like I said, process. And so what I do at work a lot is when I go through a process, I do my best to document it and then put it out there, have people review it, so that way next time I do it, once again, I don't have to think as much. I don't have to reinvent the wheel. And I find that creates huge inefficiencies in organizations. Because here's something that we do on a regular basis, and for some reason, every time we do it, it's like we're doing it for the first time. And that's hugely inefficient. And I'm not sure how your mind is, but I find I have a real hard time with that. It makes me uneasy. I was like, oh God, I can't believe that we've done this 4 times this year, and we're still thinking about it for the first time right now. And why don't we know this? And so So what's the deliverable? When am I done with this task? Let me not think so much, but let me then put it in that spot where now people can get to it, and then let me queue up the next task. And that's how I like to roll. So hope you enjoyed today's talk. Please subscribe, comment. I'd love to hear what you got to say about what I'm doing here. I would also love to help you out, however, whatever your life's journey is. And so if there's something I can do to help you, please throw a comment down. I'll do the best I can. I've got a pretty extensive network, know a lot of people. I'd love to help however I could. And that's a big part of this is being in service, giving things away. There are a bunch of links in the description. I've mentioned a few of them. Check them out. And then just a huge shout out to my alter ego G Money for the beats. I am working on the second album. Slow and steady wins the race there. And so what you're hearing is the first track on the first album. You'll hear it all month. Every 30 days I'm going to switch tracks. And so if you really dig the beats, check them out. I find that they're really good to have as background music during work because there are no lyrics and they just kind of keep you moving or keep me moving. So y'all have a great day, and I'll see you in the evening.